Under the blazing Texas sun, the air was thick with tension long before kickoff. Fans in maroon and gold filled Kyle Field, waving flags and chanting, unaware that what they were about to witness would become one of the most controversial games in college football history. The Texas A&M Aggies versus the Missouri Tigers, a classic rivalry, yes, but this time, it wasn't just about touchdowns and tackles. This game would spiral into chaos, igniting accusations, betrayals, and even tearing apart families within the teams themselves. Reporters whispered of secret feuds between star players, and rumors spread that something big was brewing behind the scenes. Cameras caught sideline arguments, coaches glaring at each other, and fans noticed a strange tension between Aggies quarterback Mason Reed and his own brother, wide receiver Tyler Reed. The crowd didn't know it then, but that sibling rivalry would explode in front of millions watching live on ESPN. When the whistle blew, it wasn't just a football game, it was a battlefield of pride, jealousy, and vengeance. What started as friendly competition would soon turn into a full-blown scandal that left fans stunned, careers shattered, and the college football world asking one haunting question: what really happened that night in College Station? It all started hours before the Texas A&M Aggies even stepped onto the field. The air around Kyle Field felt heavier than usual, almost electric, as if everyone sensed something was brewing. Players moved through warm-ups with forced smiles and fake laughs, but underneath, tension buzzed like a live wire. Whispers spread through the locker room that quarterback Landon Greer and wide receiver Malik Carter hadn't spoken all week. Some said it was over a botched play in practice, others claimed it was something more personal, something that had nothing to do with football. Landon was usually calm, the kind of guy who'd take a hit and still pat his lineman on the back. But that night, he was pacing, jaw tight, barely looking at anyone. Malik, on the other hand, was his opposite, fiery, vocal, and never afraid to call someone out, especially when the cameras were nearby. The tension between them was so thick that even the assistant coaches avoided being alone with either of them. One intern later admitted that he overheard Landon mutter under his breath, "He's gonna regret playing tonight." As kickoff neared, the mood in the tunnel was strange. The team usually hyped each other up before games, shouting chants, bumping helmets, laughing. But this time, silence ruled. When the gates opened and the crowd roared, the noise couldn't drown out the unease. Malik ran out first, pumping his chest, waving to the stands, while Landon followed a few steps behind, eyes straight ahead, focused on the field, pretending the cameras weren't catching every second of his cold expression. The first quarter started normal enough. Texas A&M scored early, a clean drive that had fans cheering, thinking it would be another smooth win. But then, something shifted. On a key third down, Landon threw a pass that was just slightly behind Malik. It should have been catchable, but Malik dropped it, and immediately turned around, arms outstretched, shouting at Landon, "That's on you." Landon, visibly angry, shouted back, "Run your route right." The exchange was brief, but millions watching on ESPN caught it instantly. Replay after replay showed the tension, and commentators couldn't help but comment on the miscommunication between the two stars. On the sideline, Coach Thompson tried to keep things calm, but the atmosphere was cracking. Teammates whispered to each other, trying not to get involved. One defensive lineman, Marcus Dale, later told a reporter, "You could tell something was about to blow. It didn't feel like a football game anymore, it felt like we were watching two people try to destroy each other in front of the world." By the second quarter, Missouri started gaining momentum. Texas A&M's rhythm was gone. Every pass between Landon and Malik looked forced. The crowd could sense the discomfort. At one point, Malik refused to huddle next to Landon, staying a few feet away, hands on his hips, glaring. When the team called a timeout, Coach Thompson pulled both of them aside, grabbing their jerseys. "I don't care what's going on between you two," he hissed. "You're embarrassing this team. Figure it out or I'll bench both of you." Malik scoffed, "Bench me and lose the only one making plays." Landon smirked, "You mean dropping plays?" It was caught on a nearby camera mic. The internet didn't waste time. Within minutes, clips were circulating online with captions like "Aggies imploding live on ESPN," and fans were stunned. This wasn't the united, disciplined team they were used to. As halftime approached, Missouri scored again, taking the lead. Boos echoed through the stands. The once hyped crowd was turning restless. Landon walked to the sideline, tossing his helmet on the bench, muttering something no one could quite hear. Malik followed right after, ripping off his gloves and slamming them down. Coach Thompson stood in front of them, shaking his head, trying to hide the storm boiling inside. In the locker room, the cameras weren't allowed, but according to leaks from inside sources, the scene was explosive. One assistant coach tried to mediate but failed. Malik accused Landon of throwing the game out of spite, claiming he was being deliberately sabotaged. Landon fired back, saying Malik had been playing for the cameras, not the team. Voices rose, helmets clattered to the ground, and someone had to physically step between them when Malik shoved Landon backward. Players watched in disbelief as their team leaders nearly came to blows. Defensive captain Marcus tried to step in, shouting, "We're losing because of this drama. Both of you need to chill," but his voice barely made a dent. The room was chaos, shouting. Arguments, accusations flying. One trainer reportedly left in tears after nearly getting caught in the middle of the fight. Then, the door opened, and athletic director Coach Harrison stepped in. Silence fell instantly. Everyone knew when Harrison walked in, it meant trouble. He looked around the room, his eyes lingering on Landon and Malik. "I don't know what this is," he said slowly, his voice calm but dangerous, "but if you don't pull it together, this team's reputation is done. You're not just playing a game tonight, you're representing thousands of people who wear that logo. Act like it." For a brief moment, both players seemed to calm down. Malik nodded, breathing hard, while Landon just sat there, staring at the ground. The room was thick with unspoken words, resentment simmering beneath forced composure. When the whistle blew to start the second half, the Aggies lined up again, but the energy had shifted, something darker hung in the air. As the third quarter began, the stands buzzed with rumors. Social media was exploding. One tweet, allegedly from someone close to the team, claimed that Malik and Landon's beef started not over football, but over a personal betrayal involving Landon's ex-girlfriend, who had recently been seen attending practices to support the team. Screenshots began circulating, showing old Instagram comments and cryptic captions from weeks before. Fans started connecting dots that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't about football at all. Down on the field, the tension turned into something ugly. On one play, Malik ran a deep route, wide open for what could have been a sure touchdown, but Landon hesitated a split-second delay and threw somewhere else. The ball was intercepted. The crowd gasped. Malik threw his hands in the air, screaming, "Are you kidding me?" Landon barked something back, but the boos drowned him out. Coach Thompson slammed his clipboard on the ground. As Malik walked back to the bench, he passed Landon and muttered something under his breath. Landon turned, eyes wide, and shoved him. Teammates jumped in immediately, separating them before punches flew. The cameras caught it all. ESPN commentators went silent for a moment, unsure how to even address what was happening live. The crowd's shock turned to unease. Some fans even started leaving, sensing this was more than a bad night, this was a breakdown. By the time the quarter ended, the Aggies were down by double digits, and the entire stadium felt off balance. Missouri players could sense it too. They started taunting, chirping across the line of scrimmage. "Y'all fighting each other more than us," one Tiger player reportedly shouted. Malik snapped back, but his focus was gone. Coach Thompson looked defeated. On the sidelines, he pulled his headset off and stared at his players, the stars who were supposed to lead them, now unraveling in front of millions. The assistant coach leaned in and whispered, "Should we bench one of them?" Thompson hesitated. "If I do, the fans will know something's really wrong," he said quietly. "But if I don't, we might not make it through the night." As the third quarter faded, the crowd's energy dimmed, and the scoreboard told a grim story. But no one realized the real explosion was still coming. Because in the locker room after that quarter, the truth about Landon and Malik's feud would finally come out, and it would be far worse than anyone could have imagined. As the players trudged back into the locker room after the third quarter, the atmosphere was thick with anger and disbelief. Helmets clattered to the floor, and the air smelled like sweat and frustration. Texas A&M was falling apart, not just on the scoreboard, but as a team. The locker room door slammed shut behind them, muting the roar of the crowd outside. Inside, it was chaos again, players shouting, coaches arguing, and two voices rising above them all, Landon and Malik. Landon threw his helmet onto the bench, glaring at Malik. "You were wide open because the defense forgot about you," he snapped. "Don't act like you did something special. Malik shot back instantly. "You're just mad because I'm the one they came to see tonight. Everyone knows it. The cameras follow me, not you. That's what's killing you, isn't it?" The room fell silent for a moment. Even the water dripping from a broken cooler in the corner seemed louder. The tension between them wasn't just professional anymore. This was personal, deep, and raw. Coach Thompson tried to step in again, his voice cracking from yelling. "Enough! I don't care who's right. You either work together or I'll pull both of you out right now. We're down by 14, and the whole country's watching us self-destruct." Malik's lip was bleeding slightly, and Landon's knuckles were red. Both stood there, breathing heavily, glaring at each other. Coach Thompson looked like he was about to explode. "This isn't just football anymore," he muttered. "This is a damn soap opera." Then, as if fate wanted to make things worse, someone's phone buzzed loudly on the bench. It was one of the backup players, scrolling through social media. He froze mid-scroll and whispered, "Oh no." Everyone turned to look. On Twitter, a video was spreading like wildfire, a clip recorded earlier that week, showing Malik at a local restaurant, sitting across from none other than Landon's ex-girlfriend, laughing, smiling, and clinking glasses. The caption read, "Guess who's been getting close off the field ice #Aggies drama." The locker room fell dead silent. Even Coach Thompson didn't know what to say. Malik tried to speak, "It's not what it looks like," but Landon didn't let him finish. "Don't," he said through clenched teeth. "Don't lie to me." The assistant coaches exchanged worried glances. This wasn't something that could just be patched up with a pep talk. The team was watching their leaders destroy each other over something that had nothing to do with the game. But the game wasn't over, and the clock was ticking. After a long pause, Coach Thompson finally barked, "You both are going back out there. You'll finish what you started. For the team. For the fans. And then, after this, we'll deal with everything else." The players reluctantly nodded, still fuming. Malik wiped the blood from his lip, grabbed his gloves, and muttered, "I'll win this game with or without him." When they stepped back onto the field, the energy was strange. Fans could feel that something was off. Rumors about the viral video were already spreading through the stands and social media. By the time the fourth quarter started, the crowd wasn't cheering, they were watching with curiosity, waiting to see what would happen next. The first drive was tense. Landon barely looked at Malik. Every pass went to other receivers, short safe throws, avoiding eye contact. But then, with 7 minutes left, the Aggies needed a big play. It was fourth down, deep in their own territory. Everyone expected Malik to be the target, he was their fastest, most reliable deep threat. But Landon hesitated in the huddle. "We're not running the play through him," he said firmly. Malik snapped his head up. "Excuse me?" Landon looked straight at him. "You heard me." The other players shifted uncomfortably. No one dared to speak. Malik clenched his fists, eyes blazing. "You're really gonna let your feelings cost us the game?" Landon didn't answer. He turned away, calling the next play, one designed to use a different receiver. As the team lined up, Malik stood still for a second, then jogged to his spot, muttering under his breath. The ball snapped. Landon dropped back, looked downfield, and just as he was about to throw, the pocket collapsed. Missouri's defense broke through. He dodged one tackle, another, then saw Malik, wide open again, waving his hands, shouting for the ball. For a split second, Landon hesitated, and that second was all it took. He was sacked hard, slammed to the turf. The crowd groaned. Malik threw his arms up in frustration, walking away before the play was even over. The camera zoomed in on Landon's face, his expression full of anger and humiliation. ESPN commentators began speculating, their voices hushed. "You have to wonder if there's something deeper going on here," one said. "This isn't just a bad game, this looks personal." Coach Thompson had seen enough. He ripped off his headset, grabbed both players as they came off the field, and shouted, "You're done. Both of you. Sit down." The sideline erupted in confusion. Backup quarterback Daniel Reyes was told to warm up. Malik protested, shouting, "You can't bench both of us," but Thompson wasn't listening. "Watch me," he said, walking away. The rest of the game unfolded like a slow-motion disaster. Missouri extended their lead while the Aggies looked disoriented, lost, and disconnected. Some fans started booing their own team, while others began chanting for the coach to make changes. But the real storm was brewing off the field. Minutes after being benched, Malik's phone, tucked under the bench, buzzed non-stop. The video of him with Landon's ex had hit every major sports account, and comments were ruthless. Fans accused him of betrayal, of being the reason the team was falling apart. Landon, sitting a few feet away, tried to ignore it, but he could hear the whispers, see the stares from teammates who didn't know who to side with. By the final whistle, Missouri had won. The scoreboard flashed 34-17, but the game itself was already forgotten. The only thing anyone was talking about was the fight, the video, and the meltdown that had turned a college football showdown into a full-blown scandal. As cameras swarmed the field for post-game interviews, neither Landon nor Malik came out. Coach Thompson gave a brief statement, his voice tight. "We'll handle everything internally," he said. But when reporters asked if the rumors about a personal conflict were true, he didn't deny them. He just sighed and said, "These are young men. Sometimes emotions run high." Back in the locker room, the silence was suffocating. No shouting, no talking, just the sound of cleats scraping the floor. Malik sat in one corner, scrolling through his phone, eyes flicking across thousands of hateful comments. Landon sat on the opposite side, staring blankly at the wall. And then, breaking the silence, Malik whispered, almost to himself, "You think this is bad? Wait till they see what's coming." A few heads turned. Landon looked up slowly. "What's that supposed to mean?" Malik didn't answer, just smirked. But that smirk was enough to send a chill through the room. Because whatever he meant, it wasn't over yet. Not even close. The real story was just beginning. The tension inside the locker room after the loss was unbearable. No one dared to speak louder than a whisper. The media could be heard outside, yelling questions, cameras flashing through the narrow crack of the half-closed door. The Aggies were supposed to be celebrating a season-defining win, but instead, they sat broken and divided, every player feeling the weight of something far larger than a bad game. Landon sat hunched over on the bench, hands gripping his helmet so tightly his knuckles turned white. Across the room, Malik leaned against the wall, scrolling through his phone, eyes flickering with anger and defiance. The silence was only broken when Coach Thompson stormed back in, slamming the door behind him. "This isn't just embarrassing," he started, voice trembling with restrained fury, "it's catastrophic. ESPN won't shut up about you too. Every sports outlet in the country's already got clips, and you've turned this program into a circus." Landon didn't look up, but Malik scoffed, "Maybe if you'd let me play, we wouldn't have lost." Coach Thompson spun around, eyes blazing. "You think this is about football anymore? This is about respect, something you've both thrown out the window tonight." The room went silent again, until Malik muttered under his breath, "Funny how he's the one crying about respect after what he did." Everyone froze. Landon's head shot up. "What did you just say?" Malik stared him down. "You heard me. Tell them the truth, man. Tell them what really started all this." Landon stood, taking slow steps toward him. "You've already said enough tonight." "No," Malik said sharply, voice rising, "you've been hiding behind your good guy act for too long. I'm not the only one who made a mess here. Tell them how you tried to get me suspended before the season even started. Tell them how you went crying to Coach Thompson because you couldn't stand someone else getting attention." Gasps filled the room. A few teammates exchanged shocked looks. Coach Thompson's jaw tightened. "That's not true," Landon said quietly. "You failed a team rule, and you know it. I didn't have to do anything." Malik laughed bitterly. "Oh, right. The team rule, like that, wasn't just your way of getting me out of the picture. But it didn't work, did it? I came back, I got the spotlight, and now you can't handle it." Landon shook his head slowly. "You're delusional. But before he could say more, Malik tossed his phone across the room. It landed near Marcus, who picked it up and looked at the screen, a leaked text thread. Messages between Landon and one of the assistant coaches, complaining about Malik's attitude and saying he was a distraction the team didn't need. "What the hell is this?" Marcus asked, voice low. Landon didn't answer, but his silence was enough. The locker room buzzed with murmurs. Some players looked disgusted, others confused. Malik smiled coldly. "Yeah, you all thought I was the problem. Turns out Golden Boy here was playing politics behind the scenes." Coach Thompson tried to defuse it, raising his hands. "We're not doing this right now. Everyone, go shower, go home, cool off. We'll deal with this tomorrow." Malik's anger shifted into panic. "So that's it? I'm supposed to be the villain forever because someone couldn't mind their business?" Coach Thompson rubbed his temples. "Both of you are suspended indefinitely until we figure this out." Landon's head snapped up. "What? You can't." "I can," Thompson interrupted. "You've both embarrassed the school, your teammates, and this program. You're done for now." Malik threw his hands up, pacing in circles. "You can't suspend me for something that wasn't my fault." Landon muttered, "You brought this on yourself." Malik turned to him, eyes burning. "You think you've won, huh? You think this makes you the hero again? I'm not going down alone, Landon. You should know that." Before anyone could react, Malik grabbed his phone again and started typing furiously. Within minutes, new posts appeared online as screenshots, voice notes, even old text messages that painted Landon in a completely different light. The captions were explosive. "You want to know the truth about Landon Greer? Here it is." The locker room erupted into chaos again. Everyone started yelling, some telling Malik to stop, others trying to grab his phone. Landon just stood there, frozen, as notification after notification started lighting up his own screen. The damage was spreading faster than anyone could contain it. Clips of the game, the leaked messages, the viral fight, it was all merging into one massive online scandal. Hashtags like #AggiesDrama and #LandonsMalik were trending nationally. Outside, the media frenzy grew louder. Students were already gathering near the stadium, live streaming, speculating, cheering for the drama like it was an episode of their favorite reality show. The story had left the sports world, it was now everywhere. By midnight, both players had become the center of a national controversy. One news outlet even claimed there was an ongoing investigation into locker room misconduct, rumors of suspensions, transfers, and even possible expulsion started circulating. In his dorm, Landon sat staring at the flood of hate comments. Every tweet, every post, every edit made him look like the villain. His phone buzzed again, a message from his mom. "What's going on? I just saw you on CNN." He didn't even know how to reply. Across campus, Malik was live on Instagram, sitting in his car, trying to defend himself to thousands of viewers. "You think I wanted this? You think I planned to fall for the same girl he couldn't handle? Nah, man. People get hurt, people move on. He needs to grow up." His words only made things worse. Fans split down the middle, Team Landon versus Team Malik. Comment sections filled with fire emojis, snake emojis, heartbreaks. It wasn't football anymore, it was a full-blown pop culture spectacle. Meanwhile, Coach Thompson and Harrison were in damage control mode. Press statements were being drafted, the university's legal team was on the phone, and reporters camped outside the athletic building, waiting for one of them to show their face. But even in the chaos, one question kept surfacing: who leaked the video? Someone inside the locker room had filmed everything. Someone who wanted the world to see it all burn. And late that night, as the rain started falling over campus, a mysterious tweet appeared from an anonymous account. No profile picture, no followers. It read, "This isn't over. Part 2 of the video drops tomorrow. #AggiesDrama." The tweet exploded within minutes. Landon saw it first, staring at the screen in disbelief. Malik saw it seconds later, his stomach dropping. Whatever was coming next, Neither of them was ready for it. The game had ended, but the real war, the one off the field, was only getting started. The next morning, College Station woke up to chaos. The sun had barely risen, but the scandal had already spiraled into something no one could contain. Television trucks lined the streets outside Kyle Field. Reporters crowded near the campus gates, students with phones in hand filming everything for TikTok, and news helicopters circled above. Overnight, Texas A&M's football program had gone from respected powerhouse to the biggest drama headline in the country. Landon didn't sleep a second. He sat on his dorm bed, still in his team hoodie, staring blankly at his phone screen. The anonymous account had posted again a 20-second teaser clip labeled Part 2. It was blurry, recorded from inside the locker room during halftime, showing voices yelling in the background and then a clear image, Malik, shouting, "You ruined my career because of your feelings." It cut off right after Landon shoved him. The caption said, "Full video drops at noon." Landon's heart sank. He knew this wasn't going to end quietly. Not when the entire country was waiting for round 2 of their feud. Across campus, Malik was pacing his apartment, surrounded by half-empty bottles and crumpled receipts. His phone wouldn't stop ringing, reporters, sponsors, old friends, even family members all wanting to know what was true and what wasn't. His mother had left a voicemail crying, "Malik, baby, tell me this isn't who you've become." But Malik didn't know how to fix it. He kept replaying everything in his head, the fight, the game, the moment he hit post on those screenshots. Every decision felt irreversible now. By 10 a.m., ESPN was running a live countdown to the release of the second video. Hashtags like #Aggies scandal, #Landon's Malik, and #LockerLeak were trending on every platform. Fans had split into factions, arguing endlessly online. One tweet read, "This is better than any Netflix series," while another said, "Both of them just ruined their futures over a girl." Inside the athletic department, Coach Thompson and athletic director Harrison were in full panic mode. Statements were being rewritten by the minute. The university's lawyers warned them, if that second video shows more physical violence, we're looking at suspensions, maybe even expulsions. Thompson rubbed his forehead, exhausted. "They were supposed to be our leaders," he whispered. "Now they're tearing the whole program apart." Meanwhile, another layer of the story began to unfold. A journalist from a local outlet tweeted screenshots suggesting the anonymous account that leaked the videos was tied to someone inside the team, an assistant trainer named Jake Miller, who had suddenly deactivated all his social media overnight. Jake had been in the locker room that night. He had seen everything. Rumors exploded instantly. Some said Malik had paid him to leak the clips. Others claimed Landon had tried to buy him off to keep the rest from coming out. Neither was true, at least, not completely. Around 11:30, just half an hour before the second video was set to drop, Landon showed up at the athletic center, eyes red, hands shaking. Security tried to stop him, but Coach Thompson waved him in. "I need to talk to him," Landon said flatly. "To Malik?" Thompson asked. Landon nodded. "Before this gets worse." Thompson hesitated. "You sure that's a good idea?" "No," Landon said softly. "But it's the right one." He walked down the hallway toward the locker room, where Malik was already waiting, not by coincidence. Malik looked up when he entered, exhaustion etched across his face. "You came to fight again?" Malik asked quietly. Landon shook his head. "No, I came to end this." The two stood in silence for a moment, just staring at each other. All the noise outside, the cameras, the tweets, the countdowns, seemed to fade for a brief second. Landon finally spoke. "We both messed up. But you're not the only one losing something. I just got a call from my agent, my sponsorship deals are gone. My family's embarrassed. My mom can't even go to the grocery store without hearing my name on the news." Malik swallowed hard. "You think it's easier for me? My reputation's done. Nobody's calling me a leader anymore. They're calling me a homewrecker." "Because of that video," Landon said bitterly. "The one you posted." Malik sighed. "I know. I shouldn't have done it. I was angry." Landon's voice cracked. "Angry enough to ruin me?" Malik didn't answer. The silence between them stretched painfully long, broken only by the faint sound of a TV in the hallway counting down the minutes to the video's release. Then, unexpectedly, Malik said, "What if we stop it?" Landon frowned. "What do you mean?" "The second video," Malik said, pacing. "What if we both go public together before it drops? We tell the truth. No lies, no half-stories. We take control of the narrative before the internet destroys us completely." Landon hesitated. "And what truth would that be?" Malik looked up at him, defeated. "The truth that we let pride and jealousy ruin everything. That it stopped being about football a long time ago." Landon stared at him for a moment, then slowly nodded. "You really think anyone would believe us now?" "Maybe not," Malik said quietly, "but at least they'd hear it from us." They both knew it was a long shot, but it was all they had left. At 11:55 a.m., with the world waiting for the leak, Malik opened Instagram Live again, but this time, Landon stood next to him. The viewer count jumped instantly. Tens of thousands joined within seconds. Comment sections exploded. "No way they're together, RN, is this fake, they're about to go off." Malik spoke first, his tone calm. "Look, we know y'all have seen the videos. We know what people are saying. And yeah, we fought. We said things we shouldn't have. But there's more to it than what you've seen." Landon stepped in, his voice steady but full of pain. "I made mistakes too. I let personal stuff get in the way of the game. I said things behind his back, and I shouldn't have. We both lost focus." The comments flooded faster than they could read. Some supportive, most skeptical. Still, they pressed on. Malik continued, "There's another video about to drop, and before it does, we want you to hear it from us. Yeah, it's ugly. But it's real. We were brothers once, and somewhere along the line, we forgot that." The live hit over 100,000 viewers before the noon mark. And right as the second leak was about to go public, the anonymous account posted something unexpected: video deleted. Respect to them for owning up. No one knew who controlled that account or why they backed down. Some said it was guilt. Others believed the university intervened. But for Landon and Malik, it didn't matter. The storm had started to calm, even just slightly. By that evening, ESPN aired a breaking segment titled "Redemption or Damage Control?" Inside the Texas A&M locker room meltdown, reporters speculated whether the players' joint statement was sincere or staged, but either way, the backlash began to soften. The university announced that both players would remain suspended for the rest of the season but wouldn't be expelled. Weeks passed, and though the noise faded, the scars didn't. Malik quietly deleted his social media. Landon stopped doing interviews. The team tried to move forward, but every practice felt different, quieter, heavier. Then, one evening after practice, Landon walked up to Malik on the empty field. The sunset stretched long shadows across the turf. He tossed a football toward him. "One last throw," Landon said with a faint smile. Malik caught it, paused, then threw it back. For the first time in months, they both laughed, not the loud, cocky laughter of athletes showing off, but the tired laugh of two people who had finally survived something together. That night, an ESPN commentator summed it up perfectly: the Texas A&M vs. Missouri game was supposed to be about football. But what the world saw instead was a story about pride, pain, and the price of fame. A story that started on the field and ended in forgiveness, or something close to it. And though the Aggies season was lost, one thing was certain: fans would never forget that night in College Station, the night when a football game became one of the most shocking reality dramas in sports history. If you made it this far, you already know this story wasn't just about football, it was about ego, betrayal, and the cost of fame in a world where one post can destroy everything. But what do you think? Was Malik really wrong for exposing the truth, or did Landon deserve to lose everything after what he did? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over, and your opinion might just shape what happens next. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more crazy behind-the-scenes drama, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next twist, because trust me, it's coming sooner than you think.